We're going to use the news from preseason training camp to cover the most recent value changes in fantasy football. Guys climbing up the board in the rankings, guys that are dropping, guys that failed in preseason, guys that are looking bad in training camp. We're going to cover a few of those guys today. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going to help you build your fantasy team. We're going to help you win your league in season. It's waiver wire every single day, starting from the top all the way down to the bottom, going deep, going shallow, whatever it is that you need, it will be here, helping you win your trades, helping you set those lineups and everything else. Click that button, stop missing out, because I'm here for you every single day. Malik Nabers is on the mend from an ankle injury. They say it's day to day. That could lead up to being week to week. Gotta monitor that in the news cycle. However, round 2 draft capital right now per ADP. He's been steaming up the board. This is going to slow that down a little bit. The price is probably going to stay palatable. The thing about this, he's going to come back. He's going to be Malik Nabers. He better be getting a 30% target share or Danny Dimes is gone. Malik Nabers, this injury might be a blessing for you because this will allow you to catch him at a reasonable cost. You can get elite wide receiver, running back, get Malik Nabers before it climbs up even higher off the board. That's what I'm seeing about that. I'm not too worried about it. I've seen this before where stud players got hurt right before the season. Week 1, 2, 3 rolls around. Next thing you know, they're balling out. Malik Nabers, killing it in preseason and camp. Everything's been looking good. Prospect profile looking good coming out of college. I'm not worried about him at all. Just pay attention to the news cycle. When the news cycle starts getting worried, then I'll start getting worried. Marquise Brown. This injury sounds like it could impact him for the start of the year. Should be out probably about a month or so. Shoulder injuries are hard for wide receivers because they got to raise up, bring in those grabs. Round 5 draft capital on underdog, probably round 6 or so in your home redraft league. That's going to drop a little bit. So we're looking at Xavier Worthy. We got speed to burn, but he's still a speculation play. Mid-round draft capital. A lot of people are gambling on him in the middle rounds because that's where people are starting to gamble on those boom wide receivers, potentially bust wide receivers. I don't want to be negative about any of these guys, but guys like Rome Odunze, Ladd McConkey are also in this range. Rookie wide receivers with a lot of upside and talent. Pick your favorite here. I like Rashee Rice in this offense a lot, especially if he doesn't get the suspension. He's been cooking in minicamp, training camp, OTAs this offseason. He's been looking good, taking a step forward. Worthy will see a bump up in value and a bump up in opportunity if Hollywood Brown is out. But still, he's looking good. He's looking good. He's on the field. He was on the field during preseason. He's been looking good in training camp. I like Rashee Rice as the safe option. Xavier Worthy as the upside play. Jordan Whittington, a lot of people talking him up, looking good in preseason. You know what? He does have some clips out there from training camp. Not too many. The Rams like to hold the cards close to their chest. They do not want to reveal too much from training camp. That's why I don't have that many training camp clips from the last few years I've been doing training camp clips. They just do that. That's just how they operate. They don't tell you what's going on. But when you do get a little bit of something from the Rams, Puka Nacua last year, we only got a couple clips, but they're all grandiose. Pay attention to Jordan Whittington. You don't have to go out and draft him. Watch him throughout the process, but he should be on your radar. He has been flashing in training camp. He has been making plays in training camp. He has been flashing. And the one thing about these wide receivers, especially this rookie draft class of wide receivers, you're going to catch random wide receivers hit from time to time. Guys that were not heavily touted. The reason why for this is because the wide receiver pool is so deep with talent. Look at the freshmen going into college now, because you can see that with this channel because we cover the freshman wide receivers going into the offseason every year. We cover the high school highlights. We're covering their portfolios. And we cover these players because we know how the player pools are going to be changing from time to time. We know what talent's going to be coming up. And the player pool at wide receiver just keeps getting deeper and more talented. So with the deeper player pool, you want the top. And don't be surprised when guys at the bottom of the pool starts being productive, starts coming out of nowhere and doing big things. Jordan Whittington could be one of those players. But Tyrone Tracy got a lot of snaps. He's been getting workload. We also got Eric Gray right now. Monitor the Giants' backfield. Take a stab on one, maybe the cheaper one. Tyrone Tracy's got some upside here with his size-adjusted athleticism. If you get some opportunity, He could give you some splash performances. He's a guy you might be looking at picking up off waivers sometime in the middle of the season. Jahan Dotson's getting a lot more workload in the slot. That's what we're seeing in preseason. That could tend to him getting more targets over the middle. That's where he was projected to be at coming out of college, as like a strong slot receiver with good hands. He's got good route running. That's where he needs to be. That's where it would be most optimal. He might earn more targets that way. He's dirt cheap in drafts. Might go undrafted in your league. Pay attention to him because he could rack up some numbers this year if things go right with Jaden Daniels. Braelon Allen looks good. He's the RB2. We've been saying this. There's no secret. But we're seeing him preseason now. Things are starting to mount up. He's cheap off the board right now. He's not going to be too cheap going forward. He's going to be one of the top handcuffs out there because he's a young running back with an immense production profile coming out of Wisconsin. We have size-adjusted athleticism for days. Paired with Breece Hall. If something happens to Breece Hall, everybody's going to be running trying to get Braelon Allen. If you're looking for a handcuff, if you're looking for a lottery ticket, this might be your guy. Brock Bowers is being used all over the place. The slot, in line. He's running a lot of routes. He's getting a lot of opportunity. That being said, that could tend well for fantasy football. Being drafted around round 9 in Underdog Fantasy, going to be a cheap get. He's the tight end 10 off the board right now. We have tremendous size-adjusted athleticism. This could be good to go for his fantasy stock. I've been saying this a lot this offseason. Look for him to be the big slot receiver on this team. Zamir White is going to get a lot of looks this year. He's going to get a lot of workload unless something happens to him, which happens to running backs if they get a lot of workload. But look for him to get the opportunity share comparable to what we saw in the back 9 of the season. Top 5 in the league, getting a lot of work. If that happens and if this team can move the chains, Zamir White is going to be a good get in the middle rounds. Caleb Williams is looking good, but let's just call it a spade here. All the rookie quarterbacks are looking good. All of them are looking good in week 1 of preseason. Caleb Williams is looking exceptional, though. This Bears offense might hum a little bit more than what you're used to. Pay attention to him. QB 13 off the board, round 10 draft capital. That's looking good. J.J. McCarthy's fitting it into tight windows. Look for Sam Darnold to start off as the starter, but J.J. McCarthy's fighting for it. He's fighting hard. Expect him to be on the field sometime this year. Expect him to be out there slinging the rock around. You got Justin Jefferson and company. Could be a cheap get in 1 QB when that happens. Superflex, if you got deep benches, you may want to stash him. Bo Nix, he has been cool, calm, collected this offseason. And what we're hearing from him out of camp is that he's not over the moon with big-time plays, but he's just making it happen. Dinking and dunking. That's what we saw in the field in preseason. That's what we're hearing from training camp. He's not overly flashy. He's showing the cannon here and there. But honestly, he's just hitting the open man, moving the chains, keeping it rolling. That's what we saw yesterday. Quentin Johnston, you better pour some liquor out. Looks like he's bottom on that depth chart. I know the Chargers media likes to promote him a lot, but it ain't looking good. Ladd McConkey, Josh Palmer, and company, they're probably going to be rolling into offense, getting a lot of workload. Watch for DJ Chark. Watch for this offense to be a little bit slower. After all, it's a hardball offense. Quentin Johnston, I'd be leery of him late in drafts. AD Mitchell, we got some opportunity here with Josh Downs being out. AD Mitchell, used in the slot, used outside, speed to burn, upside play. That's a little bit cheaper compared to other rookie wide receivers with draft capital. We're in a spot with a quarterback that wants to push it downfield. We'll see if that happens. But AD Mitchell, if he takes a step forward with his development and works well with his team, comes out of the gates firing, could be that surprise wide receiver out of this draft. Tank Dell is cooking. I told you he was healthy. I told you he's looking good. Everybody knows now. Round 3 ADP on Underdog. He's not cheap. None of these Texans wide receivers are cheap. Fantasy football gamers are saying this Texans offense is going to be fire this year. None of these players are cheap. Everybody's cooking them up the board, trying to get stacks. If you're getting Texans, good luck trying to stack them with CJ Stroud because everybody's after the Texans in drafts. But those are the players who have been impacted in preseason and training camp. There's more, but there's always going to be more videos. There'll be more tomorrow, more the next day. That's why you got to hit that subscribe button on the way out because I'll have more coming at you at all different angles. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.